I can't go on with the labor pains starting. Yet, despite this, the sister-in-law said, "It's okay, the baby won't be born right away. Please take good care of my 3 kids for 6 days." And off she went on a trip, forcing her own 3 kids onto me. Taking care of the naughty kids, the interval between pains gradually shortened. I'm in trouble. What should I do? Although it was hard even to stand, the children made a big fuss saying, "We're hungry." In the midst of all this, suddenly I was struck by intense labor pains. The pain was so intense that I couldn't even call an ambulance, and I collapsed, consciousness fading. At that moment, it felt like someone was calling my name. I am Emily, a 32-year-old housewife, living with the parents of my childhood friend turned husband, Tim. While many people might pity me for living with my in-laws, I had no resistance to it because they had been kind to me since I was a child. Thank you so much, Emily-chan, really. You're just like my own daughter. Thank you very much as well. Being so kind to me, a daughter-in-law. My in-laws always express words of gratitude towards me. However, amidst the overflowing happiness of married life, only the existence of my brother-in-law's wife bothered me. Don't get cocky just because you're the eldest son's wife. I have no such intention at all. Humph. I can't stand that complacent attitude of yours either. You're after my father-in-law's assets, aren't you? While it's true that my in-laws are wealthy, it's not certain that my husband, their eldest son, will inherit everything. Yet, my sister-in-law seemed to have convinced herself that I married into the family for the inheritance. Consequently, my sister-in-law who lived nearby would often come to our house to compete with me. Father-in-law, mother-in-law. I'll make tea instead of Emily. Oh, Catherine, you shouldn't have. Emily only ever serves tea, right? I brought some delicious Japanese sweets. Then my sister-in-law looked at me and smirked triumphantly. Though I had no intention of competing with her, she took an attitude of keeping me in check and always played the good wife in front of other family members. So I resigned myself to patience, telling myself that as long as everyone got along, it was fine. My sister-in-law had 3 children and she seemed very proud. She brought them to her parents' home as if she flaunted them in front of me, who had yet to become pregnant. All the children, including the eldest son, who was 5, were boys, and all at the age where they were full of mischief. Each visit to our home resulted in a rampage, with various things getting broken, which was a problem. However, because I had no child, there was also envy towards such a sister-in-law. Even though you're the eldest son's wife, you're useless if you can't have children, laughs. We have 3 sons, so our child is guaranteed to be the heir here. Lucky us. My sister-in-law, who looked down on me with a smug smirk, tensed when she learned of my pregnancy. My husband, of course, and my in-laws and brother-in-law were all delighted. But only my sister-in-law, with a bitter expression, ungroundedly asserted, "It's bound to be a girl." After that, she also tried to leave her child at our house. But my mother-in-law kindly refused, saying, "Now is an important time." I was relieved, but it seemed to intensify my sister-in-law's hatred towards me. Once it was known that the child in my belly was a boy. As I entered a stable period, the actions of my flustered sister-in-law became increasingly radical. "You may be aiming for the heir of this house, but it won't go as you plan." A shiver ran down my spine when my sister-in-law, with a face like a demon, whispered this into my ear. I wasn't particularly obsessed with the gender of my child, but her ominous words gave me an unpleasant premonition. One day, while I was cleaning my in-law's room, my sister-in-law, who visits as usual, interfered assertively. "I'll clean the room for Dad and Mom. I must clean it nicely." She took the cleaning tools from me and began to clean to show off at me. That alone would have been fine, but, "Emily, come here. Help me, quick." What? What happened? "I want to wipe the floor under the sofa, so let's move it. I'll lift this side, so you lift that side." I instinctively moved to help but remembered that as a pregnant woman, I should not lift heavy things, and I refused. My sister-in-law clicked her tongue in annoyance. Moreover, when I tried to go down from the 2nd floor to the 1st floor, my sister-in-law, who was on the stairs, bumped into me vigorously. I nearly fell, but I managed to grasp the handrail with both hands and avert danger. Oh, sorry. Although she pretended to apologize, my sister-in-law had a frustrated expression on her face. Is she targeting my unborn child? Filled with anxiety, I took certain measures in case of an emergency. The thing I feared happened after I entered the final month of pregnancy. The due date was approaching, and one day, the mother-in-law had to leave the house for a few days to take care of a relative who fell ill. I'm worried about leaving you, Emily, especially now that you're in your final month. Mother-in-law. It seems to still be all right, so please go without worrying. At that time, I thought everything would be fine since the due date was still ahead. However, it seems Catherine got wind of the mother-in-law being away and brought her 3 children to the in-laws' house on the day she left. Hey, Emily. I'm going on a trip starting today. So, take care of the kids. That's going to be a problem. Mother-in-law is not here right now. But you're here, aren't you? Actually, I've been feeling contractions since a little while ago. It might be labor, so I'm preparing to be admitted to the hospital now. So, I can't help you. The moment she heard that, Catherine, wearing an eerie smile, said, "Oh, has your labor started? Kids don't get born that easily. Everyone from my house is on a business trip today. So I'll be in trouble if you don't look after them. Don't be unreasonable. What's impossible is impossible. Ahaha. Take good care of my children, okay? Wait a minute." Ignoring my words, Catherine pushed me, who was standing in front of the door, and went out. While taking care of her children who began to cry saying they were hungry, I was suddenly hit by intense labor pains. I tried to call an ambulance but collapsed due to the unbearable pain. Emily, hang in there. I felt like I heard the mother-in-law's voice as my consciousness was fading. I woke up to the pain of contractions coming every 3 minutes. I heard the sound of an ambulance siren, and there was my mother-in-law beside me. Mother-in-law, why did you come back? We'll talk later. Emily, you have to be strong for the baby in your belly. It seems that the mother-in-law asked the father-in-law to take care of Catherine's children. Afterwards, I was rushed to the maternity clinic where I had been going and was able to give birth to a boy without any issues. Holding my adorable child to my chest, I felt truly relieved. It was good to have come back to the house just in case. According to the mother-in-law, on the way to the relative's house, she spotted Catherine walking amicably with an unknown man. Becoming suspicious upon seeing the large travel bag, she covertly approached, and I only heard unbelievable words from Catherine. I dumped the kids on my pregnant sister-in-law. I don't care even if her labor has started. Shocked upon hearing this, the mother-in-law hurried back and found me collapsed, calling an ambulance for me. I'm so glad the baby is safe. Once again, I thanked the mother-in-law. 6 days after being discharged, when I was at home, I received a call from Catherine, who had returned from her trip without a shred of guilt on her face. Thanks for babysitting, I'm coming to pick up the kids now, and she unilaterally hung up the phone. Assuming that neither the mother-in-law nor her husband were back yet, Catherine arrived humming a tune. Thanks for watching the kids. Huh? Seeing the 2 people who should not be there waiting, she momentarily showed a shocked expression. Why are you here? The brother-in-law speaks without knowing about the trip. I didn't hear anything about the trip. Who have you been going with and where until now? Well, my mom is back home, you see. She suddenly got sick, so I went to take care of her. I couldn't take the children because your mother wasn't there. I had no choice but to leave them with Emily. The sister-in-law persisted in playing innocent, and mother-in-law amiably said, That's odd, isn't it? I saw you with a man you claimed not to know. You were holding a big bag. What, you saw me, mother-in-law? The sister-in-law's eyes widened almost to the point of overflowing. He's my cousin. Is that so? You seemed quite close though. Even so, what were you thinking with leaving your 3 children with Emily? Who said she might have started labor pains, that is? It's because Emily said she would take care of them. There's no way I said that. Then, the sister-in-law suddenly points at me and starts making a fuss, saying, "This is a conspiracy. She's a big liar. I have been putting up with Emily's harassment all this time. It was unbearable. Please kick her out." Crying her eyes out and gesturing emphatically, the sister-in-law makes her case to the family, acting like a veritable drama queen. The mother-in-law and the sister-in-law's husband can only wear baffled expressions. Although I am the one who has been harassed, if I argue back here, the sister-in-law probably won't back down. I don't need to be considerate to such a person anymore. Though I had been silently observing the sister-in-law who acted without any regard. At this point, I played an undeniable audio proof. Ahaha. Take good care of my kids, okay? I hope something terrible happens to you and your unborn child. The sister-in-law's boisterous laugh can be heard from the voice recorder I pulled out. That's not my voice. This is a trap set up by Emily. Oh, should I show the video too then? I pressed the play button on my phone. Displayed on the screen were various malicious acts committed by the sister-in-law. This is when you try to push me down the stairs. And then this is when you're trying to knock down the heavy bookshelf towards me. When did you get such a thing? Actually, feeling my life was in danger due to the persistent harassment from my sister-in-law, I had installed surveillance cameras and transferred the recorded data to my mobile phone so I could view them anytime. Catherine, what kind of person are you? No, it's not like that, Mom. There's enough evidence here. Stop making excuses. The sister-in-law, confronted in a strong tone by the mother-in-law, glared at me fiercely. It's all because you're pregnant with a boy. If you give birth to an heir, my share of the inheritance will decrease, won't it? What? You targeted my child's life for such a reason? I was the first to give birth to a boy. So, I have the right to receive everything. Everyone couldn't close their open mouths at the sister-in-law's absurd logic. Even if your child had the right to inherit, you yourself will lose that right after seeing this, won't you? Huh? I don't understand what you mean. I'll make you understand right away. Then, I hit the sister-in-law with the final video. Hello, hey, darling. I want to go on a trip soon. I'm so tired of my husband. I want to be with you forever. The video showed the sister-in-law flirting on the phone with her lover. The brother-in-law, peering at the screen, gradually turned into a demon-like expression. What on earth is this? No, this is. Not only did you do terrible things to Emily and forced her to take care of the children, but you also went on a cheating trip. I'm divorcing you. Leave the kids and get out of here right away. Suddenly, the sister-in-law screamed in a way I had never heard before, and clung to the brother-in-law. Wait a minute. If I get divorced, I won't inherit even one penny, will I? Are you still talking about money even now? The sister-in-law, forcibly shaken off by the brother-in-law, turned towards me this time. Emily, please stop being mean to me anymore. What are you saying? This is the malice you've shown me, isn't it? No, it's already beyond that. I'm submitting this to the police. Why the police? You targeted me and my unborn child, didn't you? Please spare me from the police. I was wrong. I apologize, like this double exclamation mark. The sister-in-law clung desperately to my feet with her face, where the makeup was terribly ruined by tears. But there was no trace of intent to forgive her in me. I immediately submitted a damage report and the evidence data to the police. Catherine, my sister-in-law, ended up with a criminal record for trying to inflict injuries on me. Afterwards, Catherine and her husband got divorced. Testimonies from neighbors revealed that Catherine rarely took care of her own children. So their father, my brother-in-law, got custody. The brother-in-law demanded $2 million in consolation money and a monthly child support of $50,000 from Catherine, and also sought a payment of $2 million in consolation money from her affair partner. Eventually, Catherine was abandoned by her lover and disowned by her own family. Now, she lives in a rundown apartment. She works a night job and continues to pay the consolation money and child support while getting by. Catherine's children are being cared for by everyone. cooperatively by their grandparents, uncle, and my husband. As the family approaches them with love, their honesty and kindness have begun to shine, though they are mischievous. They cherish my child like a real sibling, and I am very happy now.